So I'm going to shake it up a little bit today. I had some really good insight these last few days, and I've been called to share this message with you guys. A little bit about me, if you don't already know, I've done over 300 and it's almost 350 business breakthroughs. And what's cool about that is you get a lot of data. It's not quantitative data. It's just I get to absorb a lot of data of how human behavior works, especially business owners. So instead of going hard on specific things, I think this is about you as a leader, you in terms of mindset, the direction you're taking your business. Because I'm talking to leaders here, and you are the business. Most of you are the business. You have a direct input on the growth of your business based on your energy, your actions, the risks that you take, your risk assessment, the decisions that you make, even just the decision to show up here. Hopefully you're going to get something that takes you to the next level. Now, I know you have a lot more clients, Lucas, than 14. So either a bunch of people don't like me, which is fine, I'm okay with that, or there's some limiting beliefs there about being taught, being mentored, and being coached, okay? Because usually when you're taught, mentored, and coached, you then are faced with a decision, and that decision is to take action, right? And if you don't take action, you then obviously you know that when you try to come back the next week, the expectation is action is to be taken. Good example is my friend Spencer there. 3 weeks ago, I said, hey man, get open phone. This is something I'm seeing an area where I know that you can improve, and I want you to do open phone. Now I'm using you as an example, Spencer, but this was good because off the bat, you had a lot of opposition to that. You're like, wait a minute, the system I have now works. I don't want to implement something new. I don't see the value in it right now. And then come to find out, you're like, dude, that was a game changer. I can't believe I waited this long, right? Right. So my mindset in business is if I can do it better, if I can do it faster and more efficient, it's a no-brainer. I don't count the cost. And that cost could be in time or it could be in money. So it's important for you guys to understand that this is a requirement for winning business owners. It's not a requirement for all business owners. Remember, I had 350 business breakthroughs. I think Michael listened to about 250 of them. My guy there, probably my biggest podcast supporter. I appreciate you, brother. And what you'll find is that some people get excited, right? They get amped up because usually I get 1 hour with you. If I'm with you one-on-one, you're going to get a good hour of me giving you direction, and I'm going to tell you exactly what I think you should do. Now, whether you do that after that call, you're excited, and there's people that genuinely look me in the eye and say, I'm doing this. I'm excited. Something happens. There's a drop off. And if you guys can identify that in your business, and you can identify that in your mindset and your personality, the quicker you can identify it, the faster you'll get from point A to point B. Okay. So the mindset here is fearless growth. Now, there's a lot of apprehension. You may have a lot of different ideas about what success looks like to you. We all have a different definition of that. My first assumption is that most of you, if not all of you, are not in business to get filthy rich to the point where you can take over the world. I know that for a fact. I don't think that's the case. I think that there's something deeper that drives you. And I don't think it's just making money. It can't be because I just don't see that out of this group of people, the ones that I've met and the ones that I'm going to get to meet. I just don't feel like that's the motivation. So we got to find out what that is, and we have to tap into it. And I want to help you understand that fearless growth was whatever decision you made to quit your job, whatever that was. When you first started your business, that's why I love coaching people that just start their business, because really my goal is to really instill confidence in them, because I know if I don't do that, they may regress, and they won't be able to handle the slow times in the early on, especially if there's liabilities, right? And you quit something that was secure and now you're insecure. You don't have the safety net. So the topic is fearless growth. And I want you to understand that faith takes a precedent here. Faith is a big part of business, right? Because essentially you wake up every day and you don't know how many phone calls you're going to get. You don't know how many leads you're going to get, right? Lucas is cranking leads, but some days, you might have one or none, right? And you don't know where that next job is going to come from. We have a good idea based on previous experience, but we really don't know, right? So having faith, waking up, if you give your best effort and energy and attention to your business, ideally you're going to find success, right? So the goal here is to utilize faith as a driving force to push you through fear. Now, once you've got faith, right? In other words, once you have a belief in yourself or something greater than you, then you have a feeling of confidence. And I feel like this is the turning curve, right? And we need to capitalize when we start to feel confident. And I believe that confidence is when we walk in alignment with what our purpose is, right? So in other words, we start off with fear, right? And I want to take you back to when you first started your business. There was a lot of fear there. There was a lot of like uncertainty. Am I going to make it? Is there room for me in the market? And I know this for a fact because I went through this. I remember looking at companies in my painting business in the area that have painting businesses that had 25 reviews and thinking, damn, how am I going to compete with these guys, right? That was a real thought for me. I thought, man, how in the world am I going to get that many reviews? And how in the world is someone going to choose me over a company that has a van, that has employees, that has a logo? And I'm just, scraping on by with my dad in a beat up truck in a Honda, hoping to win some jobs, right? So there's a lot of fear there, but there had to have been a certain level of faith for me. I had to push through that fear and I had to say, you know what? I'm going to give it my best shot. I'm going to go out and I'm going to expect a great result. Okay. And that's the mindset that we have to have with every area of our business whenever we pursue something new. And then from that point, once I convince myself that the result is going to be of great expectation, at that point I have confidence. And that confidence is really saying, okay, I'm walking in my purpose here. I have the right intentions. I have the right mindset. And ultimately, that's going to lead me to the result that I'm after. That gives me confidence. That's the purpose. Next is to identify that the purpose is truly the pursuit. I think all of you guys enjoy the pursuit, the game. I call it the game, right? This is a game that we all love. This is a game where we get wins, we get big wins. Sometimes we get losses, but the upside's hot, right? The game is what we're after, the pursuit, right? I don't think we get as excited when we get a check as we do when we sell that job, right? That's what I mean. And I don't think selling the job is the excitement is the money. It's the progress, right? We sold the job. We got another job for our team. We got another job for growth, right? Something that we did that's new is working, right? Lucas got us some new leads from a new Facebook ad and this customer mentioned it and guess what? It worked, right? So I don't think the happiness comes from the money exchange, the deposit. It comes from the idea that you are walking within your purpose and that is part of the pursuit. At the end of the road here is the destiny, guys. What are you after? What are you looking to achieve? And really the goal here, guys, is to identify what is going to satisfy you. And I think in any pursuit, we always look to what the end result is. Many of us are operating blindly right now. And I think that is a major problem, right? It's almost just, and again, we can look at a lot of examples. I'll say that if you had flight coordinates and there was no coordinates, you would find yourself lost at the end of the flight, right? So there has to be something that we're striving toward. Again, I go back to the beginning of this coaching session. It's probably not making a ton of money so you can take over the world or get yourself a mansion and serve no one but yourself. I doubt that. You probably won't get very far. So we have to understand really what encompasses the destiny of what we're after, and that's who you serve and who you impact. And I think if we focus on these two things, guys, and we utilize them as leverage, we'll find success in whatever we do. Maybe you're already experiencing that. Maybe you're identifying how much power you have to impact the lives of your employees and impact the lives of your customers. And I think if you come with every decision, not just your overall business game plan to serve and impact, I'm talking about every little decision, as simple as open phone, Spencer, that small decision, you had the ability to impact and you had the ability to serve. When I told you that with confidence, I knew that I was going to impact you and your business, and I was also going to serve you. So I could come to you with confidence and say, hey, this is a good move, right? And then you need to take that information, you need to justify that in your own way. And we're going to get into that. But at the end of the day, the focus here is who am I going to serve? Who am I going to impact? And how does that help me make risky decisions and help me shorten the learning curve and shorten my waiting period, right? How much time do I need to wait to make a decision rather than I'm going with faith, I'm going with confidence, I have a purpose, I have a destiny, and it's going to impact and serve the people I care about and I love. Next, none of this is possible without action. So 350 coaching session, guys. Okay. Very few people come back, and I offer it, maybe some people I offend, some people I tell them what they don't want to hear. That's why I do it for free, because I don't want anything to stop me from giving honest truth to individuals. And it's my truth. Sometimes it's not always the best advice for what they need or what they want, but it's all that I can give. And ultimately what I found is that there's this missing component, right? So I just spent the first I don't know if we're at 10 minutes yet, talking about everything that's needed in order to take action. And that's why taking action is so hard, because no one's going through the process of first identifying that before every decision in business, there's a level of fear. It doesn't matter what it is. I think every person here who signed up for Lucas had a level of fear. And that's, you can't lie, because you know that it's true. Because what? Fear is usually tied to risk. Risk is usually tied to some sort of loss. In this case, it was, hey, is this guy really going to pay off? Right? I even think Spencer said that to me when I sent him to Lucas. Right? And then they don't understand that, okay, in order to get past the fear, we have to have a certain level of faith. And then once we have a certain level of faith, we have to have a certain level of confidence. And then when we get past a certain level of confidence, we have to understand that there's our purpose, which is the pursuit. And then from there, the byproduct of the pursuit is the destiny. And then from there, when we understand our destiny, there's an impact and there's the ability to serve. At that point, we understand that taking action is then easy, right? But if we go into big decisions as business owners and we just see fear and action with nothing in between, guess what? Paralysis happens. And when paralysis happens, guess what? You miss out on the opportunity to win big. And these are the decisions that you have to make every single day as a business owner. Who to hire, who to fire, right? Usually the two biggest decisions. Where to put your money, what the outcome is, what the expectation is, right? So that's what we need to focus on, is how we can make quick, fast decisions and not be scared, okay? Because this is what's going to take you to the next level. I will make this very clear to you. Starting Drip Jobs was the biggest decision I had to make in terms of business. Biggest investment, biggest risk. I didn't think anybody was going to use it at first. It sucked, okay? I utilized the same roadmap to justify making the decision to take action. Who's it going to impact? Who's it going to serve? When I first started the company, I said, if this works, I can impact thousands of business owners. If it works. That's worth it to me. Here's the feedback loop when it comes to your decision making. First, it starts with fear. Then there's faith. Then there's confidence, destiny, purpose. Once you have the confidence, you can take action, and then you get a result. So that's the first half of decision making, guys. This is so important for you to understand, because if, like anything in business and in life, if you have a system, right? If we have some sort of system, and this is a system for decision making, right? Which I think is the driving force of everything we do. Matt Highfield's in the building. Bro, I love your branding. You spent a good amount of money on that, brother. Was it risky at first? Big risk, right? You're muted, but I got you. I don't know if he's trying to turn on the mic. You're good, brother. Big risk, right? I don't know if you got a fan right there. You got a fan right next to that mic, maybe? There you go. A little bit better, but big risk, right? And then let me ask you this. I could be wrong, but at one point you had a lot of fear, and then you justified to yourself. You're like, wait, I got to have an element of faith, right? I got to say, hey, man, I got to do this, because what? The impact could be great, right? Right? And then you took the action. Now you got a result. And it seems to be everyone's talking about how great your video is and your branding is. You took the risk. And guess what? I bet you're inspiring others to do the same. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff, right? Pretty cool stuff. You got some background noise. I'm going to mute you so I can finish up. That's okay, brother. Appreciate it. Well, I'll let Lucas do it. So great example, guys. So I love reverse engineering decision makers that take this risk. And he might not have had a reference point. He might not have had another guy in the painting industry that did what he just did. I think it's great, man. I love it. I think what you did is awesome. So I like to look at it like this. Who will it impact? I like the word bless. I think that in business, you have the ability to create blessings for individuals like nothing else. I think if I reverse engineer, the all the different blessings that I've created through my business, I wouldn't be able to do it. It's just too many, and they could be micro blessings. It could be the ability to create a place where someone who's trying to support their family has the ability to get a loan on a house. Where did that come from? Well, that came from me taking the risk to make sure that I have the proper payroll system set up. And that might mean spending a little more money to get it done because I care about the end result and I care about who this is going to impact and serve. Every decision I make in my business starts with who can I impact and who will I serve? And from that point forward, it's an easy decision. I'm making the call. I'm saying, okay, this is it. It'll come back to me, right? Sowing and reaping. You can count the amount of seeds in a fruit. We all know this. We could all count the same amount of seeds in this fruit, but we can't count the amount of fruit in a seed. This is such an important concept for you to understand, is that the impact of that decision, Matt Highfill, you don't even know, brother. You don't even know what that's doing online. You don't even know what that's going to do for your customers. You don't know how that makes your employees or your subcontractors feel, right? You have no clue. There's no way you can quantify it, my man. You have no clue, but because you operated with faith, you took a big leap. Watch the rewards, watch the fruits come in, okay? So your business is a sum total of the risks you take, the systems you implement, and the strategies. Guys, get this. The strategies you refine, okay? So your business is the sum total of the risks you take, the systems you implement, and the strategies you refine. That's it. If we had to create a sum total of what Spencer did this month, we would look and say, okay, Spencer, what risks did you take? What was risky, right? And then what systems did you implement? And then what strategies did you refine? We'd be able to get a good assessment of Spencer's growth as a business. And guess what? The reason I'm having this conversation with you is because it's up to you guys. Most of you guys don't have a big office team, a board of directors. You guys don't have departments. It's you. So if you can't do this and you don't have a certain level of, I'm going to put it like this. If you don't care about things that aren't going well in your business and you don't have a certain level of discipline to implement new ways of doing things, I'm sure at one point Matt said, you know what, this brand is in alignment of where I'm going. And I want it to be in alignment of where I'm going. There was a certain standard there, right? Same thing with you, Spencer. You changed your logo, right? There's a certain standard there. Right? In other words, maybe you left a marketing agency that wasn't giving you the results that you wanted and you made a decision to go with Lucas. That was a standard, right? You said, this isn't where I'm heading. You can't be in alignment with me. And Lucas knows, we have conversations about this, is that we need to keep the foot on the gas because these guys are high performers, right? We got to be innovative here, right? So I'm going to give you guys a framework. It's a 1, 2, 3 business action taking method. I use this in drip jobs. I use this in premium painting, okay? It's something that I consistently do. If there's one thing that I do for both of these companies, it's decision making. That's what I'm here for. That's what I get paid for. That's why you're the guy who gets the profit, is because you make the decisions. High risk, high reward. Faith without works is dead. This is one of my favorite Bible phrases. It's the most truest statement. It's wisdom. Faith without works is dead. You got to take the action, right? Let's get into it. So number one, I want you guys to understand that there's 3 levels to this. The first level is to systemize. So I'm going to break these down. I'm going to go around the room. We're going to talk a little bit, and we're going to go through these 3 business decision-making principles. Number 1, systemize. So this is when you're in the idea stage, right? You have no process at all, right? This is just an idea. And this takes me back to the beginning of my talk, guys. This is where it all starts, right? And I'm going to use Matt because he's just a great example. He had the idea of getting the wrap, getting the new logo, the new branding, right? So no process, the idea stage. Then we have to implement a new system, right? So this might be a little bit different, but I'm going to give you an example. So currently in my business, well, not currently, a little while ago, we had no process for ordering paint. Like, it was terrible. It was like anyone with a pulse can call the paint store, right? And I'm like, okay, I have an idea. What if I remove the phone calling from the field, right? Because my guys are sitting there on the phone on hold with the paint store. I have no way to audit this. So in other words, if the paint store says they said 6108 and my guy says, oh no, I said 6104, I'm in a pretty tough position. It's us versus them, right? and some of my guys have an accent. I just wanted to avoid that altogether. Also, I wanted to monitor what they're ordering, right? I want to know, what are you ordering and why do you need so much, right? Usually the question, right? I don't know those of you that provide paint. So I needed to create a new system. I had to systemize this. I had no process for it. I had to systemize this. And this is something that you guys should be looking at in your business every single day. It's like, what is something that I don't have a process for? I got to create a system. And I just want you to know that some system is better than no system, right? So don't get caught up in perfection. It's like the person who wants to write a book. He wants the book to be perfect, but he just doesn't understand that a book has to go through so many phases of editing and auditing and changes and refinements, right? So some system is better than no system. Drip jobs in the first 3 months, which was terrible and buggy and crappy and just awful, was better than no drip jobs, right? I had the idea. I still have the idea of what it's going to be. It's not there. It's not even close, but it's better than not having it. And it's better than not being able to work on it. Right? So don't get caught up in having the perfect system. Start with having a system for everything in your business. So what I did was I created a group chat and I said, okay, all the managers, you get to come in this group chat and group me. And if you need paint, you put your order in here, the name and the paint number, how many gallons and what store. That is our new process. That is our new system, right? And then the office admin orders all the paint. One person handles all the orders. And guess what? Through OpenPhone, everything's recorded, and through our group chat, everything's documented. And I can't tell you how many times we've referenced one of those two things since I've done that, right? I systemized something that had no system. This is what I'm talking about. So my question around the room, Lucas, you can call on a couple people. I just want 2 answers just to kind of get the juices flowing here. What business action is currently, okay, a bottleneck with no SOP? Okay.
I'm going to call on the newbie, Mr. Paul Snyder. Oh, you there? He might be in a meeting. All right, we'll call Michael then.
Michael, currently no process, right? You have no process for it. So what business action right now, something that happens in your business, is currently a bottleneck? And by SOP, I don't mean a written document. I just mean a standard operating procedure for the way that you guys do business. What's something you can think of right now?
I think honestly, the keeping track of all of my orders for my clients, all the paint, just
okay,
everything's kind of scattered. So
that's a great one, right? So you have customers that have colors, right? Mm-hmm. And right now, maybe they email them to you, maybe they call you, right? Maybe they text them over to you, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes, yeah.
All right. So good job, right? So you're identifying something that's it's just no system for it, no process for it, right? I had that same thing happen to me. So what I did was I spent 30 minutes. I went to Google Forms, which is a free app that you can use. And I wrote down a form with every single room and I called it interior paint colors. And now I create a link to that form. So our customers get an automated message in Drip Jobs that has them fill out that form for us. So the customer gets a great experience and you don't have to worry about mismanagement of the information, right? Okay. The cool thing is all of us probably have the same problem. So if someone brings something up here, chances are either I've solved it or someone else has in here. I'd like one more, Lucas, please.
Let's go with, let me check here. Mr. Julio Leon. Are you there?
How's it going, guys?
Julio, what's up, brother? Good to hear from you, man. It's been a while.
On inch sales. So tomorrow if I would need it. So that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Got it. So there's a couple problems, right, that we need to think about in terms of, all right, so what's the end goal? It's to get someone in sales in your place, right? So in other words, you have to duplicate yourself in what you're doing now. And there's 2 processes that you currently do not have. The first process is how we price the jobs, right? So in other words, we need to create a system on how we price jobs. The second one is how we pay a salesperson. These are 2 things that you currently do not have and need to create. So let's talk about that. That actually is a good segue into number 2. All right, so number 2 is to optimize, right? So we're going to get into optimizing. Julio, right now, brother, you do have a system for how you come up with pricing. Is that true? You have some methodology behind that, right?
Yeah, I typically already know. Even when we're in writing, it's like, hey, this is exactly how you're going to do it, and this is what's going to continue working for us and keeping our margins
right
where we want them to
So from a leadership perspective, you need to put that in the optimize bucket. So when you allocate time to work on your business, you need to think, okay, I think one of the most important things I'm going to do here is I'm going to optimize my time, and I'm going to create an estimating strategy, or I'm going to take my estimating strategy and figure out a way to make it duplicatable, right? So we're going to optimize. So the first level, guys, first one is systemize. So that's something that's no process. That would be when he first started his business, he had no estimating process. He kind of created one. All right. So he did systemize the way he does estimates. But now that he's iterated it, he's taken action on it, he's implemented it, he's recognized that there's some level of success with it, but not to the level that it could be scaled. He needs to optimize that piece of his business. And that's what this is here. It's optimization strategy, right? That's what he's going to be doing. He needs to optimize that. So again, you guys should have 3 buckets. The first bucket is, what do I need to systemize? In Michael's case, it was, I have absolutely no system for collecting colors. So that needs to be in my systemize bucket. And then the next one here for you, Julio, is, okay, this is in my optimize bucket. I've got to figure out how I can optimize my estimating to where someone else can do it for me, right? And guys, I want you to understand that there's so many of these. So it would be wise for you to say systemize, optimize. I'm going to show you the third one here, okay? Before we go, Lucas, can you give me somebody that has a business action similar to, like I said with Lucas, like estimating, that's working, but that could be refined? Can you call on someone, please?
Let's see here. Call on someone that needs more refining.
I don't know. Everyone needs refined. There's not one person in here that doesn't have an answer for this one. So they have a system that's okay, right? But it needs refinement. It's time to optimize it in order to get to the epitome of business, which is the ability to sell it. So there's something that someone's operating in right now that if someone came to buy their business, Lucas, they wouldn't be able to buy it because it's so dependent on a broken system. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm gonna feel bad calling on someone. So does someone want to speak up about it?
Michael, go ahead, bud.
Yeah, so I have like all my processes down for like my cabinet jobs, and that's what I'm trying to dial in on. But I do so many of them that I still don't even have them fully written down, besides them being on like the estimates that I give out. So, because they're all kind of different in their own way, I still don't have them written down to where, like you said, like someone can come in and try to buy it from me. So it's like, I have to step that up.
Right. And I would put that in the category of optimizing your documentation, right? So that's documentation. What I'm talking about here is optimizing the workflow. In this case would be like, okay, I have a certain product that I'm using for my cabinets. Right now, the dry time is really long on it, or I'm getting a lot of drips, or I'm getting a lot of sags. What else is out there? Envirolax, Centurion, Malesi. Do I need to optimize the product to create a better product for my customers? Right? You see how the difference is? So you're right. There's the optimization of your documentation, but there's also optimization of the actual production itself. So keep in mind that they're different, but again, great. That's a great one. You're like, hey, I have this documentation I need to optimize, right? All right, last one, guys. Revolutionize. This is the final chapter of the 3, okay? Revolutionize. This is when you have an old system and you need to create a new process. You need to start over again. This old system is not working, right? So in other words, this usually happens in the case of maybe you didn't have a lead nurturing system before because you never bought leads, right? But you had some way to contact people, but the old process just doesn't work. So you implement drip jobs or something like that. That is a new process in place. So you have an idea. You're like, okay, I need to follow up with people. So in this case, you seek out a product, you land on drip jobs, and it follows up with people, right? So this is a revolution. You're revolutionizing it. Generally speaking, everyone that signs up for new software revolutionizes their way of operating on the cloud, right? Like that's a revolution. So again, the example would be a new way to communicate with customers. So what new process and system do we need to implement to handle this growth? Now, here's another example. I won't call on anyone because this one's kind of tricky. You have to kind of think about it. Generally speaking, this is in your growth bucket. Revolutionize, right? So maybe you're a painting business and you're getting requests for cabinet refinishing. And you say, you know what? I need to revolutionize our process for doing cabinets because the way we're doing it can't handle the new demand, right? So in other words, Lucas, with me, you got us in Gainesville, right? It's a new town, it's a new city. So we need to revolutionize our estimating process to be able to handle estimating in 2 cities, because I'm trying to handle the growth now. So it's not that our old system was broken. It's not that our old system needs to be refined. It just needs to be recreated, right? So sometimes it's not just refinement, it's recreation. I'm going to show you guys this. I'm going to bring it all together right here. So this is probably the most important slide. So if you were kind of fading out, now's the time to come back to me, right? So here's the deal. We're going right here. This is your feedback loop right here, okay? This brings everything together. It all starts with an idea, right? Michael, you probably had an idea a few times when you were getting those colors in your email, right? You're probably thinking, dude, there's got to be a better way to do this, right? Now, something stopped you though, right? There was this like level of apprehension. It's like, I don't know what to do. It's not that important, right? And then when it happens again, you're like, damn it, why didn't I do that, right? I need to get that figured out, right? This is business. This is why business is so difficult, because there's so many of these things. If you're not systemizing, then you're optimizing. And if you're not optimizing, you're revolutionizing. And if you're not doing anything, you're stuck. And I know some of you might be stuck because you're just analysis by paralysis. You're like, I don't even know where to start. So this is your feedback loop here. Number one, it starts with an idea. Boom, comes into the head. Michael says, there's got to be a better way. Generally speaking, that's how it starts. Like, there's probably a better way to do this, right? You're probably right. The second component, which is in big red letters, is massive action, right? Because if you have massive action, that means you can get quick feedback. In other words, Spencer, if you grabbed that open phone the day I told you, you would have had 2 weeks of better phone management, right? You would have found out if I was telling the truth or if I was lying a lot quicker. So it's massive action. Once you take the massive action to buy the thing, invest in the thing, change the thing, implement the thing, right? That's implementation level right there, right? So we implement it, right? He gets open phone and he says, you know what? I'm going to go all in on this. I'm going to switch my phone number from Google Voice to open phone, right? And we're going to give it a shot, right? So then at that point, we perform it, right? We iterate it. Michael, going back to you. You had the idea, got to be a better way. I'm going to go to Google Forms or JotForm or any of the form creation tools, and I'm going to create this form, okay? And I'm going to implement it, right? So in other words, I'm going to do it. And then guess what? The next customer that I have, I'm going to send them that link and see what happens, right? So you then iterated it. And then if it works, here's the best part. If it works, then we've created the system. We systemize it, right? From that point, we have to make a choice. And this is the key here, right? The choice is we either optimize it because it works so good. So instead of just sending it to them manually, Michael, you throw it in a drip and drip jobs. When the card moves to project scheduled, you've now optimized that. And once it's optimized, here's the beautiful thing, guys. You usually don't have to go back to it for a while, right? Until you're ready to make another lap around the stadium, right? Or you say, this was not good. I did not like this at all. The customer got pissed at me. The questions were off. JotForm sucks. It froze up on them and it sent me the wrong colors. Guess what you then do, Michael? Go up, you revolutionize it, and you start over again, right? So things sometimes require revolutionary action that you don't even know yet, but you're too stuck to start, and you won't get to that point, right? So in other words, we're not going to know if Lucas's ads work until we pay him the retainer. Is that true or false, right? We don't know. We have a good idea. We hope it does, right? We know they will, right? Because we're here. We get it now, right? But the goal here is for you to understand there's 2 parts to this. Lucas's job is to do this feedback loop with your ads. Is that not true, Lucas? Is this the same exact framework that you use when you are putting out tests for your ads? Yes or no?
Absolutely.
100%. He has an idea. He takes action. He implements it. He iterates it, puts it out into the world for performance. If it works, we keep it running and then we optimize it. We make minor tweaks and changes. If it sucks, we revolutionize it. This is the secret to any business right here. This is it. If you can do this on a consistent basis with every single decision you make in business, you will win. Bar none. Screenshot it. Remember it. Every decision you make. And there's so many areas of your business I can't even begin to describe. So it's important for you just to take it slow and start utilizing this framework in everything that you do. So that's what I got for you guys. How much time do we have left, Lucas? We have 15 minutes, it looks like.
Yes.
I think now's the best time to open up for a little mini business breakthrough. We're going to talk about some areas in your business that you're struggling in. And I'll let you guys kick it off. If somebody wants to talk, just use the hand raise icon, and maybe Lucas will call you up and we'll just talk about an area of your business that you're struggling in, or maybe you want some more